Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream here on Between the Numbers Sports Podcast and show. And um, before we really jump into it, I just want to give a shout out to everyone who supported the channel. So I got some numbers from YouTube. So from last month, in the month of March, this channel, this platform, thousand almost and let's see, and there was one other one that was pretty impressive. Oh, and over 20,000 minutes watched, right? So I think that's pretty impressive. Kudos to everyone who has continued to tune in and who has continued to support the channel, whether it's leaving a comment, uh, subscribing, or leaving a like, right? So overall, my YouTube journey has been pretty positive. At first, I was kind of worried that people was going to get in the comments and bash me, but um, I kind of realized that people are really forgiving and they accept you, pretty well on YouTube, and so it's been a really good journey. But we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers right now. We're really close to um, 500 subscribers. So we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So thank y'all for subscribing. And like I said, um, wouldn't be able to do this thing without you guys actually watching the content. So wanted to get on here and do a live because unfortunately I had a death in my family. So my uncle passed away on Saturday, and I'm going to be on Friday. Me and my daughter, we're going to be driving to Louisiana, and so it'll be good to get home and see my family. But it's not going to be me seeing my family for a really good reason. So probably not going to be able to do any videos for at least 2 weeks. So I just wanted to get on here and make you know get on here and talk about some things, right? And so what I want to talk about more importantly is, the LSU spring game is coming up on this Saturday, April 13th, and I'm gonna try to watch that game, obviously. But like I said, gonna be in town for uncle's funeral, so I'm probably gonna try to. I'm pretty much gonna be able to catch the game on YouTube after it's over. I'm not gonna be able to watch the game live, but before we jump into what's some expectations that I, I am going to be looking for, or what you guys want to see. Just want to talk about a few other things, right? So Jackson Howard, a talented defensive end, from LSU, decided to hit the transfer portal. Kind of sucks because again, LSU has a need for defensive linemen in general, right? Whether it's interior linemen or outside linemen, right? They need guys, right? So Jackson Howard decided to hit the transfer portal. As always, guys can enter their names in the transfer portal and still decide to take their name out. But at the moment, he's hitting the transfer portal. So best of luck to him in the future. And who knows, maybe he might be like, you know what? I am not gonna leave the transfer. I'm not gonna leave LSU. I'm gonna stay and compete for um, a starting spot. Also, if you follow Jody Collada, right? Jody Collada is he's really plugged into LSU, right? He has a podcast on the show on YouTube. And so I follow his social media page, his Instagram, and you know, I don't know if this is just him wanting to put that out there, but he shows a lot of highlights from LSU's practices, their spring practices, and you see a lot of Garrett Nussmeier throwing bombs to Kyron Lacy or Chris Hilton Jr. And these two wide receivers are torching our defensive backs. And so on his Instagram page, I had put that it's exciting to see that the offense, although it's spring, right? is kind of hitting on all cylinders, but it's also a little bit of disheartening to see that our defensive secondary is still getting torched. And a couple of people pushed back and said, "Hey, man, it's spring. The defensive backs can't win every matchup," and I know that. I'm not an idiot, but if you watch the defense play last year, and you got used to seeing Florida State torches and um other teams, Missouri torches, right, in the secondary. And you're seeing this in the spring again. You kind of have a little bit of trauma, right? You have a little bit of spring, and I know that, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Also, something that I saw from social media, right? Which I always do my rounds on LSU Twitter, the LSU social media pages on um, Instagram or what have you, and on Twitter. What I've been seeing a whole lot of is the following players in the following positions, right? So you got Savion Jones lining up at end, uh, Ja'Cory Guillory and Swanson, right? All playing on the D line. Linebacker, you got Penn and Perkins. And a defensive back, you got PJ Woodland, PJ shooting up the depth charts. You got Brian Burns, Sage Ryan, Jaden Gilbert, and Ashton Stamps, right? So not too surprised by these guys, but one of the guys that I'm surprised by is PJ Woodland. Now, I did a episode recently talking about PJ, right? How he was, turning a lot of heads at spring practices. He was definitely on the radar of Corey Raymond and Blake Baker, but he's been running with the ones the last couple of practices, right? And I mean, that is wow, right? The guy is a 3-star. If you go to LSU's uh official website, he doesn't even have a picture, right? He doesn't even have a headshot picture. Now he is an early enrollee to LSU, right? So he's been there a while. And I want to say first that I said he's a 3-star, but I'm not saying that he can't play football. I'm just saying that like there's guys that's um on this LSU roster uh, that's 4 stars, right? Maybe even 5 stars. That's at defensive back. And PJ Woodland has come in from Mississippi as an early enrollee and like taken some reps and looks like it is leading to be the other starting spot or the other starting cornerback opposite of Ashton Stan. I think J.K. Johnson, right? And the other guy from Ohio State. And then you also have Javion and PJ Woodland, sorry, has come out of nowhere and like he's either really pushing these older guys for starting reps or he's coming out of spring the projected starter at cornerback, right? So, that's just something to look at, right? Go see it for yourself. Again, go look at Jody Collada, right? Go look at his Instagram page. Go look at LSU Twitter. Go look at LSU's Instagram page, right? And you'll see the same that of the start at the start of most of the spring practices, the media is given about 20 minutes to have access to the team, right? And so they're showing the same thing, right? So one can only assume, and again, I know it's spring, but so far, like I said, PJ Woodland has been pushing for starting reps, and if the season was to start today, he would be the starter. And so I find that interesting. With that being said, now I want to lead into the spring game and what do I expect, right? So first of all, disclaimer, you know, the spring game is going to be very vanilla. They're not going to be blitzing. There's not going to be a bunch of exotic looks and schemes. on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball, it's pretty much going to be line up 11 versus 11 and, play. I don't expect to see LSU running the ball a whole lot with the running backs because there's virtually pretty much just two guys on the roster. Now there's more than two running backs on the roster, but at the moment you only got two stud running backs, and you can't afford to lose one of those guys to an injury in spring ball. Right? Again, Trey Holly still is not back with the team, and so I'm not expecting to see a lot of LSU running the ball, but I am expected to see Garrett Nussmeier throwing the ball down the field. There's a lot of guys to feed, right? So he has to throw the ball to Kyron Lacy. He has to throw the ball to Chris Hilton Jr. And also what's his name? Mason Taylor, right? So got a lot of guys to feed, and which I think that's a good thing. I think LSU's best unit overall is the offensive line. So not too much worried about those guys. Just want to see those guys go out there and not get an injury. But the unit who I am overall, who I want to see the most is the defensive side of the ball, right? And LSU has had a lot of talent departure on both sides of the ball, right? We know Malik Neighbors, we know Brian Thomas Jr., we know the Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels. But on the defensive side of the ball, LSU has lost some talent too. Mason Smith, who I'm going to say always, I think he left for the NFL draft way too early. A few other guys departed. Harold Perkins is playing back in the inside. We got questions at defensive back still. Corey Raymond is back coaching us up to get back to DBU, but I want to see the defensive backs play. Again, like I said, it's going to be very vanilla, but I would love to see the defensive backs walk up, get in some press with our wide receivers and make some plays, right? Because again, I understand that offense sells ticket accounts like LSU and other LSU social media accounts are putting out these clips and highlights of Garrett Nussmeier throwing deep bombs to wide receivers, catching all over the defensive backs. But man, I would love to see in the spring game Garrett Nussmeier throw a couple of those deep bombs to Karen Lacey and CJ Daniels and, see our defensive backs running stride for stride with these guys and, breaking up or intercepting a few passes. That's what I want to see the most. Um, I think secondly, I would love to see how our pass rush is doing. Um, Someone made a comment who's at and was at a lot of the LSU spring practices. They're saying that we're getting beat up front on the defensive line, more specifically the interior, right? So right up the middle. And so that has to make you worry because you don't want teams lining up come the first game of the season and running it right down our throats. Because again, that's another place where LSU is very thin, right? At the interior defensive line spot, right? And so, you know, I was hoping not to hear, that we was weak at the interior, right? Sean Washington, and they said that he's been getting pancaked all spring, so that's not good. But we have to see. We have to see. You know, iron sharpens iron, right? So LSU's defensive line defense has gone against top five offensive line, right? So iron sharpens iron. It's probably a really tough task going against um, Emory Jones and all of those guys, right? On that defensive line. I mean, on that offensive line. Hearing a lot of good things about the new starting center, right? So they say this guy's tough. He's really smart. And so, yeah. So hopefully, when we line up come USC, the defensive line and the whole defensive unit as a whole limits the big plays, and USC is not able to line up and run the ball down our throats. And I think maybe I'm overreacting. I'm gonna be honest, I am overreacting, but maybe I'm overreacting, and you know, maybe we're gonna be just fine. But I do believe that we're gonna be just fine because again, we got Blake Baker, one of the best young defensive minds in all of college football. We got the godfather of we got Bo Davis, we got Peoples, we got some really good coaches on the defensive side of the ball. Probably again, one of the top 5 defensive unit coaches in all of college football. Maybe I'm being biased, maybe I'm not. Let me know what y'all think. But yeah, that's what I want to see from the spring game. I want to see just how our defensive backfield plays and just whether or not, we can get some pass rush. Obviously, you can't sack the quarterback, but you can run up the field, force him to climb the pocket and, maybe touch him. I don't know. You definitely can't sack the quarterback in the spring game. He's probably gonna have on a red jersey, but it still be awesome to see the defensive line get some push. Probably not going to see much out of Harold Perkins right again. And not going to be blitzing. So probably not going to see a lot out of Harold Perkins. So my expectations. But let me know what y'all want to see from the spring game. Let me know what y'all want to see from the spring game in the comment section, right? Let me know if y'all want to see us tear it up. Let me know if y'all want to see the defense tear it up. Hell, let me know if y'all want to see both units tear it up, or let me know if you're not even going to watch the game. Uh, so that is it for me. Again, thank y'all for the month of March. 92 new subscribers, over 20K minutes watched, and there was one more highlight that I wanted to recap. Uh, um, yeah, 12,000 total views, right? So that's really good for a small channel. I think 8 subscribers away from 500 subscribers on the road to 1,000. So I appreciate every one of you. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider leaving a like, a comment, hitting that subscribe button, and of course, hitting that bell notification button so you can stay up to date on all the latest drops. And again, let me know what y'all expectations is for LSU's purple and gold spring game this Saturday, April 13th. Um, Pretty sure it's going to be on the SEC channel on the SEC network. So let me know what y'all want to see from that spring game. And as always, stay safe and I'm out.